Welcome everyone to Grim After Dark, the Frontline Gaming Network's weekly interview show where we hit the high points of the last week from the Frontline Gaming community. Talk to the best one thing we all love, which of course is Warhammer. Tonight, I know I said earlier that we were going to have Marshall Peterson on, but because I am unable to tell him a time correctly, that didn't work out. So Marshall's going to be on next week. Tonight, we are going to have Taylor come on and tell us about what he feels is the best book that takes the story in the greatest direction for Warhammer, Godblight, book 3 of the Dark Imperium series. So if you have not read that yet, keep watching, because if you've watched the Taylor before, you can't follow along. It's just random collections of stuff together. It's fantastic. I was going to touch on a tweet that caught my eye, and we're going to hit on our meme of the week, which I am super excited for. Before that, we are getting ready this weekend for Charity Hammer, which you're going to hear a whole lot about. Danny, you are playing in the GT for Charity Hammer. We're going to talk about your round 1 towards the end of the segment here, so hold that bile and rage a little bit. But how is your prep going for Charity Hammer?
Well, thanks, John. Great to be here. Prep is going great. I just based like 100 miles today, so going A1. I'm planning on getting all the metal bits done tonight. We'll see how that works out, and then I have tomorrow. So yeah, got to get these guys ready for this weekend.
Yeah. So if you want to see some sloppily painted or quickly 3-colored, I believe is the more polite way to put it.
Almost battle ready.
Almost battle ready. To the point where I think Colin Sherman, he was on last week. He is hosting Charity Hammer. He's going to give Danny 5 battle ready points instead of 10 because it's almost there, but not quite. Yeah. Before we kind of go forward onto that, let's talk a little bit about a tweet that really caught my eye this week. Black Library author, and this really works out for us because we're talking to Taylor about a Black Library book here, but Aaron Dembski-Bowden sent out this fantastic tweet, which is a great encapsulation of what is wrong with the world today. So if we want to look at that on screen there. So he says, a lot of people contact me through my various social media, inboxes, or through my website, etc. They're basically always lovely. I try to reply, but there's too many to be consistent on that score. However, I get significantly more dick pics sent to me than you might imagine. I do want to apologize to Tyler, our wonderful editor, in advance for this. He's going to have to be on point for the next 5 minutes or so. Danny.
Are you saying that because of me, or are we just going to say dick a lot?
The subject matter more than anything else. Well,
who's sending the dick pics?
I mean, do people really love Black Legion so much that, like, you know what will really show how much I appreciate, like, the effort and thought he put into this book is a picture of my penis.
I guess. I mean, Kaon is just so powerful, right? That, like,
literally the best character in all of 40K.
So,
yeah,
I get it.
So I guess we're gonna have you take us through, Danny. Like the top 3 reasons you should send a dick pic to your favorite author.
Okay.
So why don't you tell us what is the number 3 reason to send a dick pic to your favorite author?
Don't send them a dick pic.
Okay.
Just
number 2. What is your number 2 reason to send a dick pic to a Black Library author?
Stop sending dick pics to Black Library authors.
And then if I could round this one out with our number 1 reason to send a dick pic to a book author of a series you enjoy, don't send pictures of your genitals to anyone. No one wants that. Not even, people who say they do. They're lying. It's all lying. But yeah, like I opened up my Twitter this weekend. I was super surprised to see a tweet saying that people do that. Because I'm like, that's not something I would expect. Could you imagine, if you will, close your eyes, transport yourself to a place where you are a Black Library author, and you're like, I just got my book out. I made my deadline. It's really great. They didn't have to scrap the entire thing and fire me and have it rewritten by someone else because it's the Siege of Terra series. Awesome. It's released. And then as soon as it's out in the wild, you check your Twitter notifications, and you're like, "Oh, cool! Someone messaged me. They must really like the book."
It's
And
like,
that's what you get.
yeah,
Yeah, Danny's arm.
yeah.
That is a sizable thing.
Dude, yeah. Well, I mean, all right. So I put myself in this scenario, John, and I got to disagree with you just a little bit, right?
Okay,
I guess I can see myself like wanting to get a dick pic as like recognition of how good of an author I am. Like, man, I wrote a book that made this guy's so hard that he just had to send me a picture of it, and yeah, I mean that's kind of flattering in a way, I guess, right? In like sexual assault kind of way.
yeah.
Yeah.
We also want to welcome Taylor Amber for making her first cameo on the podcast right here, um,
Okay.
and on air. So yeah, welcome Amber. And then so yeah, I guess to wrap this up, please don't do that. Uh, our meme of the week. Let me tell you how far I had to trudge to get away from negativity in meme land this week. But we got it. The tried, the true, the solid tabletop inquirer.
Oh, always so good.
Always so good. Always needs to give you what you need to get. And with Grey Knights coming this week, the title of long-term update. This thing is still super goofy. And again, Tyler, you're welcome, bud. You were in those vanguards. But Danny, this is a classic model. It's the baby carrier. It's the Grey Knight. It's kind of like part Ripley and Alien, part dog turd. Well, what is your take on that Grey Knight?
I mean, if you haven't seen the video of it as a toy, like as an advertisement, like go ahead, do yourself a favor, get on YouTube, check that baby out.
I forgot that one. They did like the 80s style G.I. Joe ad for it.
It's so excellent. But yeah, I don't really understand why they haven't tried to polish this model up a little bit. I mean, I know that it's newer and that kind of thing, but like it could use a serious facelift and maybe a redesign as far as like just take the whole concept back to the drawing board, boys, and figure it out.
But here's the thing: how does one fit a Dread Knight in the Rubicon Primaris? Because that's the only real way to physically embiggen a Space Marine model nowadays is to make it
first
Primaris.
Of all, you need to consult with your apothecary before crossing the Rubicon Primaris.
I do enjoy a good joke based on a podcast no one listens to. That is quite wonderful. But yeah, I don't know. I think someone had a fever dream. They were like, design this psychic Space Marine line, and they're like, that sounds really cool. And then they, close the deadline, run it up, and they're like, what's this? And I'm like, oh, it's a Marine being carried by a big robot, and it's psychic because of its sword and its gun.
Yeah. Like, so I think what happened is somebody watched way too much Aliens, right? They're like, I'm going to Google image search small person beats large monster. And like, I need to make this into a Grey Knight thing. And they're like, oh, a power lifter. Cool. Yeah, we'll make this into a Grey Knights thing. But it looks stupid if I just stick like a Terminator inside of a power lifter. I'm going to have to just give it like actual legs and ankles and feet. And that's really where it loses it for me because it's too like anthropomorphized. So like
It's
it actually has like legs. It's too real for me.
Oh man! But it is a part of the upcoming Hex Firebox coming out for Thousand Suns and Grey Knights. We're going to see those codexes this weekend, hopefully. Then we're going to talk about them more next week on Grim After Dark. Finally, before we move on to some well-loved Taylor, Danny, you are playing in the 32-person GT for Charity Hammer. One of the toughest GTs around. You have single elimination. Round one, you were playing against fellow FLGN student, I guess. I was going to say alumni, but we haven't been fired yet, so that doesn't make sense.
No, not yet.
Signals of the Frontline host, Seth Oster.
Yeah.
I think we have a picture of Seth here. Seth here seen molesting a dolphin.
Dolphins are known as the molesters of the sea. Actually, I don't know if you knew that or not.
Oh, it's
When
the
are
other
we
way
going to hold them
around.
to the same kind of standards that we do to primates? Because like you would call a primate, you'd call a chimpanzee a molester if he, sexually abused other animals, including humans.
So
But Seth's getting real chummy with him there. You can see.
let me ask Danny, and then we're gonna ask producer Val. Can we get that picture back on the screen for like the rest of the segment here? In so your game, you're playing your Mechanicus against his orcs. In this situation, are you the dolphin or Seth?
Well, that's a great question, John. I mean,
Thanks.
I don't know who's doing the molesting in this picture, but I think I'm the molestor and he's the molestee. If you want to get technical. Um, Look, all I know going into this weekend, I'm looking around at who's going to be the number two in this game, and it's not me for once.
Number two.
And it's going
So
to be Seth.
you were playing this game at what time?
It's going to be noon on Friday, Pacific time. That'll be streamed live for the entire world to see.
And are you a better person than me? Do you remember what stream you're on? Because there are literally 3 streams
Yeah, I
happening.
believe I'm on the Best in Faction stream. I'm on stream one.
Stream one.
This is a top build game. I don't know if you know that or not, John, but this game is important not just for me, but for all the animals that Seth has hurt in his line of work. So that's who I'm really dedicating my week to. Can we get that other image up just so people can see, like what I'm fighting against here? Look at this.
What we have here is a picture of Seth, allegedly a medical professional, strangling a vulture, I believe, from the looks of it.
Seth the Mad Dog is truly a mad dog.
Truly
And,
lives up to his name.
He does. And that
Man.
that vulture's not getting a bionic leg, I'll tell you that.
So what I will say, go to charityhammer.com. Donate your money if you can to help out. It helps out Child's Play, which is a fantastic charity. But really, the more you donate, the more demoralized Seth will be because he hates helping people. And you'll be able to empower Danny to that win in that game. Again, it's going to be 12 Pacific, I believe, on
That's
the
right.
main Biff Pod stream. And we want everyone to watch along with that. I know I will be respecting the rules and just yelling mean things from outside so I don't disturb the game.
Yeah.
And willing on Danny with all 2% of my soul.
Get your lunch, bring it with you to the game because I'll be handing Seth his.
That's ending that part in the high note. I love that. That's pretty good. Well, we've kept you all waiting through our terrible jokes. My obsession with people receiving weird pictures from the internet. We're going to bring on Taylor.
Yeah.
Taylor of Taylor is here to talk about Taylor. Hey, Taylor.
Oh, howdy, it's me from earlier.
I like that you kind of, right as your TV appeared. That way it just seemed like you anger raged it into existence, which is very grand for you.
I only started to exist once the TV started to exist, so one can't exist without the other.
And on FLGN, do you really exist if you don't have a TV?
No.
That's the main question we got to
ask.
Yeah,
no, absolutely not.
So, Taylor, we gave you literally weeks of research come on in here to talk about your favorite book. I'm going to slap my hand right in front of the microphone as well. What are you here to tell us about today?
Man, you're making a lot of claims. But I am here to talk about the third Dark Imperium book, Got There. Godblight. It's the final book in the series, I'm pretty sure. It's about Guilliman and Mortarian's final battle that they have to have over the IX system and the planet, and also, I don't know, like all of Ultramar or whatever. I guess it's really important. Oh yeah.
What I'm going to put out here real quick. Yeah, so go on, Taylor. Do your patented practice and scripted spoiler warning.
Yes, true. By the way, I'm going to try to spoil every single thing in this book for the most part. It'll be incomprehensible, but I will say the words. So technically, they are spoilers, all of it. So if you don't want that, just leave. Just Just go away. Just leave.
Or hold
was
hold
always
on
allowed.
here. Let's have a little bit of a thought. You can mute your channel. Keep
True.
watching on as many different forums as possible, like YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, everywhere this is, and then angrily email Val. I think it's director at flgn.com, about how much you dislike having this book spoiled. That is literally your best plan. Taylor,
Yes.
you said this book is the final confrontation between Gulliman and Mortarion. That seems like baloney. And I know spoilers, so I'm going to give everyone like 10 more seconds to leave.
Well, yes. They're going to have another one eventually because, you know, nobody dies in this book.
You said that at the 9-second mark, man. If I can't even keep my promises.
I ruined it. I'm going to have to leave. I'm sorry.
No, please come back. Come home.
That's fair. So yeah, just starting off with that. Obviously, nobody dies, so that kind of sucks. Whatever. Let's start the beginning.
I was going to say,
Yes.
Are you telling me that a book with named characters and main faction leaders from currently active armies don't die?
I'm computing the answer for you, and I think it's going to have to be a yes.
Oh my
As
gosh.
crazy as that sounds,
I
it's
really
going to have
hope
to be a yes.
I really hope that they turned in a draft where it's just page 5, Gulliman just eats it and dies alone on the planet of Ix. And they're like, no.
Yeah, no, that's how it has to happen. When the first demon host thing that he interrogates, when he has that interrogation, it just breaks out and kills him like every single person on the ship warned him it would. That's what happens, right? Got there.
Oh, amazing. So yeah, let's go from then back to the start again. This happens again in the planet of Ix, which is in the Ultramar sector.
Right.
Go.
It used to be okay. So second book, I believe it was turned into a demon world. Kugoth and Mortarion are both there. They're trying their biggest, hardest to create the strongest disease that ever was and never will be, or whatever. So Kugoth has a piece of the cauldron, right? The whole thing. He's got like a tiny piece of it, which I guess. I don't know like the design of cauldrons really, but I feel like if you take a piece of it, it stops being, like starts to leak out. I don't know, whatever. But Nurgle gives him a whole bit, and he's like, "Here you go, you can have this. You were made here. Do you remember?" And Kugoth is like, "Yeah, I remember. I know. It's my whole thing that I hate. Whatever. Stop talking to me, Dad." And so he is going to create the strongest disease that ever was, so he can kill Gulliman. And Mortarion is like, yes, I think that is awesome. That is the coolest thing that's ever happened. And Mortarion is like, Typhus, you got to help me do this. And Typhus is like, Dad, I swear to God, if you call me again, I will kill you. I will come to your house and beat you up. Nurgle says I'm cooler than you. Do you have any idea who I am? I'm me. Your son, but I'm better.
Imagine, like, your dad just wanting his whole life to have a great relationship with his dad and just having the worst possible one. So, like, they break up and he gets a new stepdad. He's like, yes, this is the opportunity for me to have that loving relationship I never had with my father before. And then the stepdad just likes his son more and just ignores him completely. So he has to live his life watching his stepdad play on the swings with his son while he just infects from afar.
Right. And then every time you try to talk to your son, he runs at you at 40 miles an hour and drop kicks you in the back of the head. That's Mortarion's everyday existence.
Harsh.
I didn't realize Cataphractic armor was that fast, but that's good knowledge to know. That's locked up here in the old brain.
Question. Do you think the traumatic brain injuries that he's received from these repeated drop kicks are why he's so into clocks?
I think so. I think the ticking, right, it helps soothe his brain.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, right. That's why we need 14 million of them across the entire galaxy or whatever. It was very cool. I'm very invested in Mortarion's clocks.
I think the author just watched season 1 of Heroes and thought it was a really good trope. And he was like, yeah, that's been like 15 years since people have watched that. Let's try that.
Oh, I was going to say, I think that Mortarion is just Captain Hook.
No.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, I think, and then Gulliman is the alligator. I think that's the whole thing.
So is it thematically that Gulliman ticks on his way everywhere? So like Mortarion will just be like infesting a planet and then just be like, all of a sudden hear like the tick, tick, tick and really start freaking out. I love that.
And then he has to build his own clocks, building his own Mortarions.
Who in this scenario would that make Calgar Peter Pan, or would that make him Tinkerbell? Or would Kato Sicarius be Tinkerbell?
Despite having absolutely nothing to do with the story at all, I like to think Kato Sicarius is Peter Pan.
That's fair.
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be.
No, he's there. He's the most important guy.
Is he?
Yeah, he's there. I promise. He doesn't have anything to do with this at all. He doesn't. He shows up one time and he's like, "Hey, main character proxy, you sure are lame." And then the main character proxy is like, "Yeah, well, nuh-uh." And that's the whole interaction.
Oh, that's the best dialogue I've ever heard.
Yeah, that's the only thing Kato has to do with this book. He's there the whole time, but I don't know. He just didn't want to. He doesn't have a Primaris model yet, so he can't really interact with the story. You know, you feel what I'm saying?
That's fair. That's fair.
Right. So, okay, got it. So they arrive in system above Ajax. They're just kind of there immediately. No journey there at all. It's fine. We're just here. And Goldman is like, I have to fight Mortarion. I have to do it big, large. Where is he though? He's here, but I don't know like where or whatever. Hey, demon host that I just found on the floor, will you help me? And the demon host is like, yeah, I'll do whatever you want, man. You just got to let me out. And Goldman is like, yeah, that sounds great. Hey, Iliamna Namaste. I'll look directly at the camera here for a second. Iliamna Namaste. Great, awesome. You want to help me? Also some Grey Knights. Let's do this. And so he puts the guy in a box, and then he's like, hey, so where's Mortarion at? And the demon host is like, ha, I tricked you. I didn't want to help you. You're dumb. Ha! And then he has Iliamna Namaste. He's going to look the camera directly every time I say that. He's like, I'm just going to torture you. And he does that. And then after like 7 minutes of screaming or whatever, the Grey Knights and Iliamna Namaste gets the answer out of the demon host. And it's basically, well, he's right there. Like, we're already at the planet. He's been there, right there the whole time, right? Great, awesome. And then the demon host gets out, and Gilman does a big stab with the big sword, because he's got the big flaming sword that perma kills all demons. They don't like that. And then the Grey Knights
are like, they're not a fan,
right? Yeah, they don't think that's really cool.
No.
And then the Grey Knights are like, that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. We are never helping you again. We're leaving for 12 years. Bye.
Wait, let's rewind on this a little bit.
Yeah, what's up?
So from what you've told me, Gulliman came down to the planet, killed a demon.
Well, not on the planet yet. It's just your ship.
So he was on the ship. He killed the demon permanently. So like no banishment, just straight dead, removed it from existence.
Right.
And the Grey Knights were like, yo, this doesn't really jive with our philosophy about how we should be doing things here. Like, we just want to banish them so that we can have some job security and do it again when you actually kill them. It's really bad.
I believe his main gripe was about listening to anything that the demon thing had to say at all, which, I mean, fair. But yes, essentially, he was mad. And so all of the Grey Knights in the fleet leave permanently. They go by. I assume to make the upcoming fight harder, is what I think about that one. I'm not really sure.
We're leaving your crusade because we're angry and for plot reasons.
Right.
Yeah, if it's not a challenge, why even do it?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, okay, God. Oh, no. It's been like 6 minutes. So Matthew is back, and he's like way more big, large faith. He's basically screaming at all times that Gullman is the Jesus. He is the God. Look at him. He's so cool and powerful. And a bunch of sisters and Cadians have flocked to his cause. And so he's got like an army of thousands just like following him all of the time. And also he looks like Diogenes. He eats dirt and lives on the floor and sleeps in a barrel. I assume. He just looks like garbage all of the time.
So he's like a rock star in his drug phase, where he has like thousands of groupies following him everywhere, but he falls asleep in a barrel on the floor, passed out.
But
so,
do
you like his character? Do you like his character? I think his character is really interesting.
I really liked his character in the first and second book, and then in the third book, it's like all that zealotry stuff. It's here now, and that just becomes his entire character. He just becomes a big. He becomes literally the exact opposite thing that Gilman wanted when he hired him.
Right.
Right. And so, okay, God. So they're at the planet. Matthew is being a little baby man. He's screaming all the time. Why won't you love me for calling you God? You're obviously God. It's not fair.
Simping hard for Curly Man.
Simping really, really hard.
He has like a Gulliman-shaped pillow that he sleeps with at night.
He created approximately 40,000 alternate accounts to subscribe individually to his OnlyFans account.
Gulliman OnlyFans, terrible, of course, because whenever he gets naked for it, he almost dies.
Right.
Because of the life support system in the suit.
All right, guys, I'm going to need a lot of supporters on this one. Anyway, let's not talk about that. So they're on the demon world. They're not there yet. They're going to attack it. And Gulliman's like, I'm going to attack it. And Matthew's like, well, I'm going to attack it first. He's a stupid nerd. I'm going to be the one to do the big crusade. I had to do the big crusade right now. And so Gulliman is like, oh, no, I definitely don't want you to do that. Everything I'm saying to you is not psychological manipulation to go down there and just die. Please just die and get out of my hair. This is definitely not what I want you to do. And he's like, God, I'm so smart. I'm going to go on the crusade. And so he basically does. Oh, man. Okay, so the coolest thing about the church in this book is they have a big train. And their train is huge. It's a land train. A land train like the what are they called? The squats used to have.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. It's awesome, except big church. And so
a land church, even.
Yeah,
it's the
land
church that comes to you.
Yeah,
as long as you're within like 50 feet of the tracks. Otherwise, you have to go to it.
I imagine that it has an apparatus on the front to lay down a track as it's moving forward. It doesn't say that doesn't happen, so I'm going to take that one as a for sure, right?
Yeah, cool. Gospel. Good.
Right. Okay, so what else is happening? Nope, that's a completely different book. Oh, no. Okay, who is here? Got it. Felix is here. And he's like...
Your recollection is flawless, Taylor. Thank you.
I have approximate knowledge of very many things. Okay.
To be fair, we disclaimed in the description of this episode that it was half remembered. So this is very just on brand for us.
It's true. I was the one who chose to not do any research. This one's on me. Okay, so Felix is here, and we already talked about his confrontation with Cato Sicarius, the greatest swordsman of all time. What else does he do? Almost nothing, really. Felix is the main character of the book with Call, and he's also in all of the most recent Dark Imperium books. I actually think he's pretty cool. He's fun. But he doesn't actually do very much in this book. He's more of just like the proxy character, I guess. Okay, cool. So we're set up with the Imperials. It's happening with the Chaos dudes. Okay, cool. So Mortarion is also on the planet, as directly stated by every character to exist in this book. Kugoth is also there, still stern away as things, still acting like a big baby about everything. He's just so sad all the time because I exist and I just hate existing so much. It's not fair. So he's creating his thing. And as Kugoth is creating his thing, the Rainfather shows up. God, what is the Rainfather's name?
Rodigus.
God, you're so smart.
You are literally my favorite part of this book, the hot tub scene. Now, we talked a lot about penises in Black Library earlier, so I'm excited to talk about the Rodigus hot tub scene.
Right. So didn't know this till this book, but Kugoth is number one in Nurgle's favor. That doesn't seem real, but whatever. Rodigus is number two. So Rodigus is constantly like jockeying for position, trying to get all up in Kugoth's business, trying to throw him on the ground or whatever and get all up in his spot. So Rodigus shows up in the big hot tub, right? The Cauldron Nurgle. He shows up and he's like,
Rodigus Cauldron scene and hot tub time machine rhyming is not a coincidence at all.
Yeah, no, that one's planned for sure. Time doesn't exist in the warp, so I mean, they could be traveling backwards while having the conversation. So I mean, it works.
Yeah,
not me.
It makes about as much sense as Rodigus deciding to take a bath in the Cauldron of Nurgle while someone's trying to make the greatest disease ever in it.
Well, he thinks it's cool and funny. So he shows up and he's like, Kugoth, you're a stupid idiot. You're so dumb. I hate you so much. You're so stupid. Why are you even here? And Kugoth is like, yeah, I mean, that's fair. You don't really got to say it like that. And Radagast is like, well, that sucks for you. This poison isn't very good, is it? And Kugoth is like, well, I mean, it'll kill you, you stupid idiot. It'll kill you if you sit in it. And Radagast is like, well, I'm already sitting in it, so why am I not dead yet, moron? And Kugoth, Kugoth is like, oh, God, yeah, that's fair. You got me there, man. And then he's like, why are you even here? Why are you even here? You're just gonna make fun of me? What are you even doing? And Kugoth is like, well, I mean, wait, go. Radagast is like, well, yeah, I'm here to make fun of you, but I mean, you should be over there fighting a big war. There's a big war going on. And he's like, why are you not at the big war? Nurgle wants you to go there. That's where Typhus went. Also, I completely forgot to mention that, yeah. I completely forgot to mention that Typhus just left. He's no longer in this book. He has said, hey, there's a big war in the plague stars. I think that's way cooler. I'm a peace out. Hey, Mortarion, you should follow me. And Mortarion is like, absolutely not. I will not be doing that. I have to go kill Guilliman, that guy. He has to die. I have to drag all 500 worlds into the grasp of Nurgle. And so that happened like 3 chapters ago. We're not talking about it anymore.
Wait, okay, hold on.
Wait, so yeah, 3 chapters ago, all of Ultramar just disappeared into the warp. Cool.
No, that's what he wanted to do. That's his plan. That's what all the clocks are for. Don't you understand the clocks? Okay.
No, we already covered
Danny,
that.
did you have a question?
Yeah.
So why does Kugoth have such a refined accent?
I'm not going to pretend I know what voice I did for him 30 seconds ago.
Okay, cool. Never mind.
You'll have to ask me when I get around to it again.
Okay.
Cool. Where were we?
Oh my God, this is the best.
Oh, I love it.
Cool.
So yeah, Radagast in the cauldron, Kugoth stirring around, be like, oh, I'm gonna kill a god with this potion, and then Radagast is like, you're just really bad at this. This is like Campbell's soup, not even chunky.
That's exactly what happens. Then he puts all of it in his mouth, and he's like, haha, I'm not even dead, nerd. And he's like, but you should be dead. It's the Godblight. And he's like, well, I'm not, so too stupid. And so essentially then he just leaves. He came there entirely to make fun of him and call him a loser. And then he did that. So, I mean, mission accomplished.
And then the Grey Knights left at this point for the rest of the book because they were unhappy of the way Radagast treated. They were like, we can't stand this demon-on-demon violence where we're out of here.
Yeah, they heard that conversation. They were like, that's not acceptable.
It's now actually fully headcanon for me that any conflict ever, the Grey Knights just leave. Like, even if they're not there, they're just off to the side, like camera right. They're just going to pan across. Be like, yeah, we don't agree with that. We're leaving. And their entire shtick is they're not demon hunters. They're demon, like, runawayers. I ended that really poorly, but the initial thought was good.
Well, you don't need... Okay, so you spend 3,000 years making a force specifically to murder demons, right? You don't need that to kill demons. You just, whatever, just let them leave.
Yeah.
Okay, they're called the Grey Knights, and they paint their armor silver. Like, who needs these losers? Not me.
They're just a bunch of pranksters. Just a bunch of jokesters. They're like, hey, guys, I told him we're called Grey Knights. I mean, just, yeah. Quality guys.
Obviously, Silver Knights. I mean, come on.
Obviously, look at this. Lead Belcher, come on. Anyway. Got it. Cool. Kugoth's still there. Oh, Radagast left. Cool. That idiot's gone. What else? Got it. Cool. So Matthew is like, I'm going to land on the planet now. And then he's like, great, I'm landing on the planet now. And everything sucks. Obviously, it's a demon world. Everything sucks terrible. And while he's landing on the demon world to go fight nothing, really, he has no plan. He's just there to do, the god stuff, whatever. I have the faith. Off I go. Bazinga. Guilliman is like, cool, now that that's over, let's all have a big war plan. Let's have a big war time. Everyone's going to sit in this conclave and we're going to talk about how we're going to kill Mortarion for sure. So, okay, cool. So that happens. And then as that's happening, Kugoth is like, I'm going to talk to the smallest idiot demon to ever exist, but he's a spy, so he's cool. And I'm going to tell him a secret. And when you give him a secret, he goes and gets a secret. Awesome. Great. So I'm going to listen in on the big war meeting. Great. We're going there. So he gets the small demon and he's like, hey, okay, I know you need a secret to do your job. This is going to be really hard for me to say. I don't really like Rodriguez. Whoa, right? And the small demon is like, sir, this is a Wendy's. Please give me a better secret. He's like, okay, cool. I'll do better this time for sure. I don't really like other people. Whoa, man. Crazy, right? Isn't that nuts? And the little man is like, sir, please just give me your order. Please. And so Kugoth is like, all right, I got it this time. I got it. That Primarch blood that I used to make the Godblight, I still have some. Cool. Is that good enough? And he's like, yes. All right, number 6 on the rack. Please wait over there in line. Cool. So that's done. So then the little man becomes a burger. He doesn't actually. Now? Yes. I don't know how you order food. Have you ever been to a Burger King? No, I didn't think so.
Well, neither's this dude. Kugoth is at a Wendy's. Remember your own headcanon, sir.
I can't.
I think I refuse.
Cool. So the little man becomes a burger.
Downgrade?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Man, I could go for a Baconator right now. So bad. I'm so hungry. Anyway, the little man.
Sponsored by Wendy's.
True. Anyway, he becomes a burger, and then he flies into the material world as a burger. He's not a burger. He's himself. Whatever. And he finds a morally weak, corrupt man or whatever. I don't know the requirements for what gets you demon possessed. It's fine. And then he flies into his mouth like a burger would do. Right. Like a Baconator would do.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just kind of rides along in this dude's brain. He also makes him, deathly ill, constantly coughing, has no idea where he is or who he is. But you don't need to know any of those things to be an officer in the Imperium, so it's fine. Cool. So he attends the big meeting, and the little guy watches through his eyes as so Guilliman's big plan, essentially, is we're going to go out there. Cool? Got it. We're going to go out there on the planet, and then we're going to fight Mortarion. That's it. That's what I got. We're going to fight him.
The tactical genius of the 41st millennium.
What
are you going to do? Going to punch him in the face.
I'm going to fight him. How am I going to fight him? Well, I'm going to put my forces on the ground.
Okay.
Cool, right?
And then pincer, drop.
No, absolutely not.
Oh.
No, we're gonna go on the ground, and then because I'm here, he's gonna come out, and then we're gonna fight, and then I'm gonna win.
I mean, if you're gonna have a plan, that's a pretty solid plan. It's like, what is your plan? I'm just gonna win.
I'm simply going to win.
We're gonna leave it at that. I'll just win. We'll call it good. All done.
That's all you need, right?
Also, as much as I hate bringing it up here, I do want to say the Twitch chat is telling you Grey Knights have their own paint now, you nerd. So if you are painting yours lead belcher, you're doing it wrong.
Well, it'd be really weird for me to imply I can do anything right. So obviously I'm doing it wrong.
Just Stormhost silver the whole way.
The whole thing. Cool. So the little fly man sees it and he's like, awesome. That's the smartest plan I've ever seen in the entire universe.
Is the little fly man like, wait, that's the plan? Really? Yeah. He needed to give me a favor to see this, which is just charging?
Absolutely. I'm going to move 6 inches, and are you within 12? I'm going to charge. That's the whole thing. So cool. So little fly man is like, man, that's the sickest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Wow. That is why he gives you 3 CP when he's your warlord for sure. And so he goes to leave, And then a librarian is there, and the librarian is like, "Bro, I knew you were here the whole time. Literally,
he
what are
did
you?"
not. He did
w-
not. Do you think like a
No, I didn't.
librarian like sees people like sneak up to them? He's like, oh, and they're like, oh, did I scare you? Like, no, my psychic powers. I knew you were here the whole time. Don't
I
worry
knew,
about it.
bro, I knew you were here the whole time. It's
saw you
fine.
coming.
Like librarians aren't really psychic. They're just really bad mentalists.
There you go. They're emotional vampires, one might say. I would say that. So then he kills the little flyman. So he doesn't even tell Kugoth anything. He just dies. So why do we have that extent? It's fine. And the guy he was possessing also doesn't die. He's fine. He's just like, possessed by a demon of Nurgle for like 3 days. No worries. Whatever. Just go to bed. You're fine. Cool.
Is this like a really long, convoluted fly on the wall joke? I just have to ask that.
Yes.
Oh, that's really clever.
Yes. No, yes, it is. 100% correct.
I wonder if like the guy turned it in and the editors were like, bro, look, we told you had to add this scene in with the scene with the demon. We need this in there. He's like, well, screw you. I'm going to do like a little fly on the wall then. And they're like, perfect. I don't care. Just finish it and get it sent in.
Just please send
And
us
so he's
in.
like, and a fly infects a dude's brain and he sees his plan and it was bad. And then he dies. But the guy's fine because I wrote 5 chapters afterwards with him in it.
Okay, God, does he appear at all? I don't think he appears at all. It's fine. He's whatever. We just had to. You know what? He's fine. You know what? Actually, I'm choosing to say he's dead now. He died.
No, he actually at the very end of the book he gets the Marvel style Matthew will return.
Oh.
And then in Dark Imperium 4,
I was going
A
to
New
say
Hope.
he got the Predator suit from the end of The Predator, which is the worst movie I've ever seen in the history of all existence. We're not here to talk about how much I hate that movie.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Oh my God. Yeah.
Wow.
all of it.
Well,
It's
we're
the
about to
worst
cut
movie.
away from the
Well,
Taylor
hold on.
feed right here.
We can't
Yeah,
sustain
thank you.
this
Yeah,
kind
like-
of negativity.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, he's gone. So we'll
Oh.
accept many things. We'll accept like half remembered stories. We'll remember like very rage-filled things of books we love, like Black Legion. We won't accept any trash talk about Predator.
Absolutely not. It's
Like,
one of the
absolutely
finest-
not.
The sheer circumference and biceps alone in that movie is
And it's now,
unbelievable.
and I will say it is in the FLGN style guide that all guests and hosts must watch Predator at least once a month to get the feeling of Frontline as a company.
It's true.
I'm going to need to be real clear here. I didn't say Predator. I said
look
The
at you!
Predator.
Look at you
Which is-
backtracking now.
Right, which is the movie that came out in like 2015 and ruined my entire life.
Or Val, if you
That
want
was
to get
way more recent than 2015.
producer Val, if you want to get that picture of Seth back up, I think we have a visual indication of what Predator is. And it's perfect. Yep. That's 2017's Predator movie. Perfect. Yeah, wonderful. All right, back to Godblight.
Awesome.
As
Cool.
the chat is quick to point out that the visual jokes weren't great in audio format. So,
True. Agreed.
so yeah,
Whoa.
Fly Guy finds a plan, dies, doesn't
Right.
tell anyone.
Doesn't do anything at all.
Then the plan continues as normal.
It does. And after the meeting, immediately, Goldman was like, that's not even my real plan. So after
He's like,
that,
idiot, like I just charge at you headlong.
Stupid nerd. After that, I think they just start attacking the planet. My brain is very fast right now. I can't get the information out of it, but I'm pretty sure they just start attacking the planet. Matthew is still there, and he still has his big train. And the big train with the big train gun is...
Oh, the Land Church.
Right. It's vaguely doing things. It's the coolest part of the book, for sure. So they land on the planet.
That's the best part, is something vaguely doing something is the best part
Yeah.
of the book. I just want to make sure I understand.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes. Big train. When I say big train in my brain, endorphins happen. Serotonin is created when I say big train. Do you understand?
boy. I
Like the
do.
comedy sketch show from like the 2000s.
I'm not going to pretend to know what that means, John.
That's fair. It's real boomer humor.
Cool. So got it. So they go down to the
Alright,
planet. Yes.
Yeah, train time.
Right, train time, but not actually. Somehow we kind of know where the cauldron is. I think the possessed kind of told him a little bit. I think he just told him about its existence. And so Goldman was like, ah, yes, I shall deduce from the knowledge of its existence at all where it is. And so he sends 5 infiltrators to get it. 5.
I love the fact Gulliman came up with this fake plan where he's like, I'm going to land all of my forces and we're going to do a direct assault on Mortarion and we're going to do this thing. It's like, okay, so Nurgle's literal cauldron that he's created every disease ever known is on this planet. What do you want to do? I'm like, I'm going to send a single troops choice with no upgrades.
Okay, true. However, there is a Primaris lieutenant there with the storm shield and the sword, right? He probably even mastercrafted it.
You guys got a 2-up save.
I have no way of knowing.
You feel though Nurgle's cauldron would do mortals or some kind of area of effect thing.
No, it's fine.
So you would probably send more than 5 guys.
No, absolutely not.
6.
6, right? Because one has
guys.
6 would be perfect statistically. Like there's no better number to send than 6 troops.
Not total at that point.
It's perfect.
It's only 6 because that's how much the impulsor can fit. It makes so much sense. I think there was actually right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think there was actually another squad, but they immediately die, so my brain is not telling me if they exist or not.
Doesn't matter. It was promoting the new Kill Team version.
Sure.
Thank you for letting me steal that joke, Alendro. I appreciate that. Yeah.
So, yes. So, okay, cool. So the cool thing that happens, they're on this planet, and the planet has been Nurglified for like a couple of years or whatever. But since it's the warp, it's been like 100,000. It's been like a bajillion years or whatever. And there's been like 40 generations of people who have lived and died on this planet. Now, they only live to be like 30 because it's a demon world. That makes sense.
Sure.
But I mean, it's still like 100 generations.
But if time has no meaning in the warp, are you really 30?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. I'm saying objectively yes.
So time has meaning in the warp. Got it.
It does now.
It does.
You can't objectively give something an age and then say that time has no meaning in the warp.
You might not be able to, but I can, and
anyway.
I
will. Bland Church goes, train, boom. We're attacking. We've sent literally the least amount of assets possible to seize the most deadly device in the galaxy. Gulliman is like barreling along there. Like Mortarion is like winding his 130th clock because for some reason that's a thing that he does now since these books.
I love the clocks. Got it. So cool. So I mentioned the people on the populace of the planet at all because the team of infiltrators meet some, and they were like, oh God, we got to get these people off world. And then one of them decides to exert a few more decibels than was probably optimal. And so they were like, oh yeah, never mind. We're going to execute this village right now. And one of the infiltrators is like, that what? That's an escalation. Do we have to? And the lieutenant is like, yes, we do. They know where we are now, or they might, or whatever. And so then there's a 5-minute scene where they kill every single villager.
They won't know where we are if we murder everyone in this town and leave a pile of bodies in our wake.
A screaming woman can't let the enemy know where you are if you fill her with 40 70 millimeter explosive rounds that detonate on impact with the force of a RPG.
I feel that they would hear those things detonating at the force of impact, and it would be much louder than a.
I feel that you're wrong.
Yeah,
that is.
John, just so you know, I don't know if you know this or not. Nurgle demons actually don't have ears.
Oh, fair, big fair.
They just have the one big eye.
Must be why I lose when I play Nurgle demons.
And they because when they count, like that's not auditory. That's kind of a symbolism.
No,
I don't know. I'm making this up. Okay, sorry.
I can tell. Yeah, that's real good. Well, apparently, you can't hear numbers. which is phenomenal.
That's true. Yeah, no, that's objective for sure.
But yeah, we're now godblighting down. We have
Right.
god on god action.
Okay, cool. So right, yeah. So when Goleman said that just running at him wasn't actually his plan, he's kind of a liar. So they walk out and then they're about to fight, and then a bomb falls from the sky, and Goleman is like, "That bomb was like really expensive," and that's the only part of his plan that wasn't explicitly stated. Really, was the material cost of the bomb. So that's fine. And then a bunch of Plague Marines die, as they are wont to do. They're 21 points. Terrible.
21 points.
Garbage. Like 1,000 of them die, so that's cool. And so
like literally the only time you'll see Plague Marines on a battlefield.
Right, they were playing. It's a Crusade game, right? Like, it's,
fair, yeah,
they're playing to the narrative here.
I have all their war gear upgraded for free. It's fine.
It makes a lot of narrative sense that thousands of Plague Marines would die.
Yeah.
Cool. So with the death of like a bajillion parts of this army, there's now enough space. There's a 15-foot crater or whatever where Guilliman and Mortarion can fight, and so cool. So they jump at each other. They're trading blows. And Iliama Namaste and some cabal of sorcerers or whatever puts a force field over Guilliman and Mortarion so that they can fight. I think it's because he was mad at Guilliman, so that Guilliman couldn't get away when Mortarion starts obviously just beating the crap out of him, because that's what's going to happen. He said, "Guilliman, please, who do you think you are? What are you doing? You don't even have Sisters of Silence this time, like with Magnus. Hello? You've done this before. What's
really
going on?"
By the demon murder as well. They left with the Grey Knights. They were their ride.
Right. I also completely forgot to tell you about the part where Kugoth creates the super poison. He's like, "Yes, this is the coolest thing I've ever done." And then Mortarion is like, "It's not even that cool, idiot." And then he's like, "Dude, come on. I've been working for this for like untold millennia. You can't just call it lame. You can't just call it lame. Hello? Like, this is not even a joke. That's kind of verbatim." And so he becomes large as to show Mortarion that he is not lame. And the Mortarion is like, "Man, we're not friends anymore. You're so lame." And then he leaves with the Godblight.
I like how at the end it turns into Clueless.
Right.
That's pretty neat. That's how Death Guard plays. Is like a bunch of mean girls arguing.
True. And now we're back at the current time where I left 15 seconds ago. We're back. Remember that? We're back there. Got it.
Cool.
So,
barely, but sure.
Mortarion starts fighting, and then immediately starts winning because, again, we've been here before. What are you doing? And Guilliman, there we go. He's on the ground and he's dying, and he's like, "God, I'm dying. I'm dying, so I'm big, so dying right now." And
and then we're going to stop this real quick. In case you're just joining us, spoilers, by the way. Big spoilers coming up.
The biggest spoilers or whatever.
Because even though we said spoilers earlier, if you're still watching, you say, "I'm not going to follow along." You might follow along with this last 5 minutes. Please continue.
Maybe a little bit. Anyway, so Mortarion is like, "Yeah, you think you're dying right now? Lamau." And he injects him with with the Godblight, the thing on the cover of the book. He injects him with that. By the way, Guilliman's neck looks really weird on the cover of the book, but we're not talking about that right now.
So why, when you're beating him to death, would you stop beating him to death to inject him with a poison that would kill him when you were killing him anyway?
Because despite everything Mortarion has ever said, he wants to convert Guilliman to the dark side for fun, I think. It's
It's like a 40K version of trying to get your friend to listen to the Smiths with you when you were in school.
Yeah.
So I'm doing nothing. I will say I'm doing nothing but boomer references today.
Am I allowed to say boomer? Because I will.
You are.
Oh,
yeah.
You're so old. Anyway.
I am. Yeah.
So he injects him with the Godblight to like make him the evil or whatever. And if he doesn't become evil, he'll just like die. Win-win. Okay, cool. So that's happening. That's happening right now. We're gonna leave that scene. Cool. We're at a different scene now. we're going to go fight the Cauldron and Urgle. Also Kugoth is there. What do we have to fight him? Well, we got the big train, and we got an armored company, and we got Baby Pask. I don't remember this dude's name, but he's a tank commander, and he's Cadian, so he's Baby Pask. Got it. Cool. We're moving on. Baby Pask is having a crisis of faith, and he's like, maybe God isn't real or whatever. And that's the whole thing. But then he gains his faith 2 chapters into that dilemma, and this dilemma takes 6 chapters. So it's fine, whatever. And then he shoots Kugoth in the face with his battle cannon, and then he dies. Anyway, so at the same time that the infiltrators are done murdering a bunch of innocent civilians, they get to the cauldron.
They screamed really loud.
Right, it was not allowed. They get to the cauldron at the same time as the land train, and they're like, "Wow, that land train is so cool, man!"
So they sent 5 intercessors to walk to the cauldron, and then also a land train.
Well, so they didn't send the land train.
Oh, good.
It just went there because Matthew is the head of the land train, and he's standing on the pulpit, and he's just kind of T-posing at chaos. And as he's T-posing at chaos, it can't affect him because it's too strong. This T-pose is too strong. It's filled with faith. Got it. Cool. So they arrive at the same time, and they're like, "Wow, that's so cool." And then Kugoth is like, "Come on, guys! Like, this is my big moment. You know what? Yeah, we're going to go back. This is my big moment. Like, come on. This isn't fair. First Mortarion called me lame, and now you guys are here to, like, touch my cauldron. Come on. And then all of the Primaris die because Kugoth kills them because...
There was only 5 of them. Of course they all died.
Right, except for one. He's fine. But... Before he dies, the Primaris lieutenant manages to do a big cut on Kugoth, and then Kugoth is like, "Well, that didn't matter at all. I didn't know why you even bothered." And then he stabs him with his Gigantor sword, and that's the end of that guy. What a nerd! But as they're doing that, it gives Matthew enough time to T-pose levitate all the way to the cauldron, and be like, "Man, God sure is real." And then he taps the cauldron with his hand. And then God kills the cauldron. So that's cool. It explodes.
Okay.
Yeah,
sending thousands of diseases across the continent from the explosion.
No. So he does a big pray, and then he touches the cauldron, and then the Emperor shows up, and it's like, "Man, this thing is stupid." And he stabs it with his big glowing sword.
Okay, so I know we've used a lot of metaphors, and we've made a lot of jokes and a lot of names. If we want to rewind like 15 seconds here, you said the Emperor showed up and stabbed a destroyed cauldron with a sword.
Yeah, so it's not like, oh, there might have been, it was his faith or whatever. No, an actual like apparition of the Emperor shows up with a big glowing sword and stabs the cauldron. So that's cool.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Oh, I feel terribly. And so, okay, we're in that scene right now. Awesome. We're now leaving it once again. We're going back to where Guilliman is, and Guilliman is still dying. He is still dying on the floor. Good at that. He is great at it. But he manages to roll his 4+ when the cauldron is destroyed. So he gets back up with D6 wounds.
This is verbatim from a chapter in the book, by the way.
Right. But he gets up in the Garden of Nurgle. And so he's in the Garden of Nurgle right now, and he's like, "Man, I sure am here." And Mortarion is like, "Man, you sure are stupid. God, join the dark side already. Whatever, nerd, loser." And then Guilliman is like, "Well, I'm just going to have a memory real quick." And so he has a memory of that time that he met the Emperor. And the next 5 minutes of that memory are basically just the Emperor calling him a stupid baby nerd. "You stupid idiot, what are you doing?" And that feels like a projection of Guilliman's insecurities, but I'm not the guy. I can't answer that for him.
I will say Taylor is not a trained psychiatrist or a psychologist in any way. And any of his diagnosis here, amateur at best.
So he has a bunch of insecurities about being called a tool or whatever, but he doesn't actually even say that. Like, I don't know, for being like a fractured soul being fed by the suffering and prayers of like a quadrillion people, the Emperor was pretty nice about it. Like, he doesn't actually even say anything. He's like, "Man, you sure are alive again. Lamau, get going." And Mortarion is also there, he's in the memory, because I guess if you just have a memory hard enough, like it'll bleed into reality. Except I guess they are in the warp, so that would make sense. Anyway, so
But of
Mortarion is
course,
there, and
in
it's
the
like,
warp where time doesn't matter unless you're talking about birthdays.
right, unless it's
yeah.
whatever I say.
Unless you
What's up?
unless you think it matters. Time
Right,
doesn't
yeah, I
matter
think it
unless you
matters.
think it does.
Yeah, I think it matters. Me, I make all the rules. Okay, so he has that memory, and Mortarion is like, "That's the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life, sir." And then Goldman is like, "You're right." And then Goldman is then fine. He's in the realm of Nurgle, and he's like, "Man, maybe God is real." And so he flies into the air with his big golden sword, and he calls Mortarion an idiot. And it's probably not Goldman talking right now. It's implied to be directly the Emperor. So he flies into the air, and he looks at Nurgle, and he's like, "Your will is a baby will that is smaller than me and mine, T-pose." And then he looks at Mortarion, and he's like, "Wow, you made some bad choices in life, dude. What are you even doing? Might save you one day. Not right now, though." And then a door in the manse opens, and Mortarion flies. He just tumbles over end, screaming "No!" into the manse. And then when he goes into the manse, the windows dramatically shut. And then Guilliman is like still T-posing with the flaming sword, and then he sets most of Nurgle's realm on fire, like most of it. Like he's just like sweeps his big sword, and then fire shoots out, and then his will was apparently huge or whatever. I don't know. I don't know the mechanics of this one. I'm not sure on the logistics, but he sets most of Nurgle's realm on fire, and then he comes back to life. He made his 4+ on the battlefield. He made his 4+, so he comes back with D6 moons, and all this skin that fell off, he now has again, and the armor of fate doesn't look garbage anymore, and he's fine. And also Matt, okay, so we're that scene, awesome, done, leaving it once again. We're going back to the cauldron.
Cool.
Matthew, full of disease, still alive, whatever. The custodians are there now. They showed up a bit late, don't know what's going on with that.
They were really offended by their use of demon weapons. So yeah,
that makes sense. So they physically pick up the disgusting remnants of Matthew, who was still alive, but obviously very gross. And they pick him up and they take him off to a ship. And they also take the single living Primaris guy, who was in the previous books. He's the Nova Marine guy. I don't know. I don't particularly care. So he's fine. Got it. So he's fine. And then whatever. The land train, unfortunately, destroyed. Greatest loss of the book, in my opinion. And so then okay, cool. Book's basically over. Matthew and the Emperor, not the Emperor, God. Guilliman goes into the room where Matthew is. He's like, "God, you sure are sick, aren't you? That's weird." And Matthew's like, "I have one message left. You're God." And then he dies. Which, that's just what he's been saying all the time. He's been saying that since minute 1. I think he says the Emperor is like watching you or whatever, but I mean, yeah, he was right there.
And he's a giant perv watching you all the time.
I saw him. He's over there. That's crazy. Cool. Book over. I did it.
You did
badly.
No, it was wonderful. Aside from your heretical views on the movie Predator, I was with you the whole way.
Predator.
Yeah,
Predator.
It was great. All hail Predator. Again, official FLGN movie, Predator. So Taylor, looking at that, what are the implications? Like, so there's a lot of stuff that happens in this book that we touched over. Right. What are the implications coming out of this? Where do you see sort of the lore in around 90 seconds to 3 minutes?
Got it. Cool. Well, for one, the Emperor is just straight up awake now. There's no more ambiguity of like, is he a god? What is he not a god? Is he just a big dumb corpse? Is he just a big smelly skeleton, but is also a god because people worship it? There's no ambiguity anymore. He's a big powerful warp entity who's now awake and doing stuff. At the beginning of the book, completely forgot to mention it. the crusade that is happening is having a hard time being like retributed against, because the Emperor is actively like shielding their position from the enemy. So yeah, just straight hey, ambiguity. No, the Emperor is awake now, and he's not happy. Also, he directly told Mortarion to his face that maybe one day he could cure him, which I don't know. That's cringe. Personally, yeah. What do you think?
Danny, well, what are your takeaways from this?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a lot to take in. Why? Why would they do that? Why would they put a redemption arc in for a Trader Prime? That's like the dumbest.
I don't know. Cringe. It's the only word for it.
To wrap it up, as someone who owns approximately 8,000 points of Painted Death Guard, a redemption arc fills me with all kinds of fear that I don't want to have to build, paint, and assemble a loyal Death Guard force because things change. So if we could neatly kind of tie that redemption. In fact, if we can make a promise as a community, as the Frontline Gaming Network community, to not send authors dick pics, then maybe we won't have a redemption arc for my army, and I won't have to repaint anything. And that would make me super, super happy. Taylor, thank you so much for coming on with immense notice and taking us through this amazing book, Godblight, available on Audible, Black Library, Games Workshop. It is a pretty good book, and lore-wise, there's a heck of a lot that goes on that you're going to want to follow up on. Check out the streams, the BiffPod stream, the Art of War YouTube, and the Canhammer Twitch stream, and of course your own friendly Frontline Gaming Network for this weekend's Charity Hammer event, where Danny is going to go to the third round and then choke, which is kind of my own personal prediction here.
Wow. Thanks, man.
Just gonna do it to him right there.
If you do have they have a bracket. If you guess that bracket correctly, you win a Beast Snagger box. And let me tell you, Danny, I really want that box. So if you could just throw it in the third, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, no dice.
So yeah,
throwing it in the first.
Thank you for watching Grim After Dark. Be sure, if you like this, be sure to subscribe to Frontline Gaming Network wherever they are found. For Danny and Taylor, I've been John, and we will see you next Tuesday.
True.